The devil wants you to think that you've lost. He wants you to forget the big blessings that you've been seeing. He wants you to forget the good God that you've been knowing. Because the devil can't stop a blessing. All he can do is take your eyes off the prize. Paul said this. He said, "You were running such a good race. Who tripped you up?" It's one of my favorite verses in the Bible. Because Paul's asking, who did this to you? And maybe someone did do this to you. Maybe you feel the way you do because people rose against you, or maybe they slandered you or left you out in the dirt to die. But I come to tell you that you will live and not die and declare the works of the Lord. And because you have been so faithful, because you have been so kind, because God has been so kind, because you've been so obedient, and obedience is better than sacrifice, the Lord is going to show up in your situation. He is going to raise a standard for you. What is a standard? A standard is an impenetrable, secure wall. That means that when your enemies run at you, they are going to run into this standard and fall right backwards. Though 1,000 fall at your right-hand side and 10,000 fall at your left-hand side, it shall not come near you. And you got to remember that you're the head and you're not the tail. You got to remember that if God is for you, who could be against you? What can man do to me? Remember that. And if you remember that God is who he said he is, all the rest of this stuff will fall off like Lego bricks when you step on them. Might not feel good, but it all falls apart. And God is so very good to make sure that all the things attached to you that aren't supposed to go with you into the next season fall off. Don't always feel good when it gets pruned. It don't always feel good. I'm a farm kid, so when you look at a tree and you're cutting off all this bountiful fruit, it looks like you're being ridiculous. It looks like you should leave those apples, you should leave those lemons, you should leave those blueberries. But the more you prune it, the healthier the tree, and the more fruit comes in the next year. So don't question when God comes in and prunes. Don't question when the devil comes in with chaos. Know that he's working everything together for your good. Just like Joseph said, you meant to harm me, but God meant it for my good. God turned it for my good. And there may be people against you, but if God is for you, would you want to be against you? I don't think so. God is going to right every wrong. And I promise you, the people that keep rising up against you are going to get theirs. They will. But it ain't going to come through you. And there's going to come a point, because I know there's been points in my life where I wanted justice. But when justice came, I asked God to stop, because it was more than I would ever have done. More than I would ever have asked. God knows how to take care of people. You just take care of keeping your peace. You take care of not being petty. You take care of continuing to show God through you and through the things that you do in your life. Because I promise that when you keep showing up for the kingdom, honey, the kingdom is going to show up for you. The Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be added unto you. God is going to come to your aid. We're not waiting on nobody to downfall, but I promise you that you don't have to handle it. God's got it under control. All you need to do is be still and know and do the next obedient thing that God tells you to do. That's the only thing. That's the answer to it all. Be still, know, and do the next obedient thing. And you're going to be just